Hello everybody, Grizzly Pig here. Welcome to today's episode, and we are playing Ark Ascended, and we are today doing Alpha Dragon, and I'm going to explain to you guys how we do this. We do it as a duo. I'm going to go through what gear we're using, what tames we're using. You can see here there's two of us. We're using Megaloceroses, and on those we don't have anything particularly good about them, between 5 to 12k HP. 12k is way too much. You don't need anywhere near that much on them, and you're going to want to have some veggie cakes on them. I recommend 20, just in case something goes a little bit wrong. So we are not on just official settings here, we are on the official PvE network. And the reason that's important is because I've seen videos before that have caused me to actually fail this big time, because there's one in particular I remember watching, claims to do this solo in 7 minutes. Absolutely untrue. It cannot be done on a proper server in that time because of the lag and just the way that AI acts differently to on privately hosted on your client. So what you want to be doing is some different things to make sure you actually can do it if you are playing on the official network, and you won't fail it. So these things here are what you should be doing, more like, rather than what you're being told on an official settings server. This other video as well I was watching also had the guy was using a sword that was like over 300% in its damage. On official, you can't get that. You have to go for 298. That is the cap. So this is a very cheap way of doing it. It's a very quick way of doing it as well, and accessible. Now, we've done bosses before this. We've done lots of bosses, Gamma, Beta and Alpha on the Broodmother and the Monkey as well. Lots of different ways. We've worked up to this. This is now what we're going to be doing as our bread and butter. Every time we decide we want element, we're going to be doing the Alpha Dragon like this. So you can see we are hacking him with swords. We do have 298% on the stat there, and on our personal stats, now I'm level 130 here, I believe, and my guildie here is like level 107, something like that. You want to get what's really important on your stats to be at between 5 and 600 melee, 5 or 600% melee in that region. If you can go over 600, great, but you also want to have yourself a decent amount of HP, 200 to 300, depends what you feel comfortable with, and then get yourself some weight as well. So if you're going to be running this spec just around the world and you've got access to tech suit or whatever, maybe that'll decide whether you want more or less weight. Whether you're just slipping into this spec for a day just to do a load of the runs, then you might want to take less weight, because you don't actually need it here. You're going to be on your Megaloceros. Again, you can see I'm using a shotgun. You don't necessarily need to have one. In fact, when you try this out for the first couple of times, you might decide that it's not a risk that you want to take in a capped out shotgun. We have got 298% damage on the shotgun. Now, the great thing about this is that it is cheap, but it really depends what you mean by cheap on that one. I'm going to explain, because I am wearing flak armor. I have got 2 sets, so one I'm wearing, and ideally a primary set, you want it to have at least 1000 durability on each of those pieces. If you can go for 1300 or higher, even better. The dragon is not going to attack you all that much, because as you can see, what we do is we're on the Megaloceros, we are getting underneath the dragon and we are cheesing the game mechanics, and basically the dragon cannot attack us under here. It's not foolproof. He does set me on fire sometimes, and I do have to heal with my med brews. We'll talk about consumables and stuff in a minute and all of that stuff. But yeah, so get under the dragon, slash his feet whenever he lands. When he takes to the sky, if you've got a shotgun, just be shooting him until that's over. Ignore the pteranodons and the dimorphodons for the biggest part, but slash them up if you feel like you can do in the same swipe as you're hitting the foot of the dragon as well. The dimorphodons are going to break your armor, so that's why you need a second set, although I've done this many times and my armor hasn't broke at all. But as I say, get yourself the highest durability armor you can. When I say this is a cheap way of doing it, it all depends whether you have access to the high level shotgun, the high capped out sword or something there, or the armour as well. And I'm assuming if you're looking at this video, you already have the capability of getting all the trophies and stuff anyway, so likely you will have access to that stuff anyway. So let's talk about the consumables here. So we're not using any of the risky stuff like the battle tartar, for example, that causes you to not be able to heal while you've got it up. And we're also not going to be using the beer as well because of the debuff you get afterwards. Although the beer is very good, you also, to get rid of the debuff afterwards, you'll want to have some antidote on you as well. And it's just another thing to think about that you don't really want to worry about. As you can see here, the dragon's going to throw down fireballs, so keep moving whenever you see that, but you can hide behind stuff here. Anyway, back to the consumables. So we're using Enduro Stew. We're using that for the added melee damage, although I hear that it's not working as it's intended to be working, but hell with it, we're just going to use it anyway, just hedge our bets. There's no downside to it. We're going to use the Lazarus Chowder. You want to take a backup one of these because you probably have to refresh it again because it's not got as long uptime as the other stuff. And we're using that because we get some increased healing there. And then we're going to use the Kalian soup, and that's for the because we're in a hot area, it's going to help us with the water. And we're also going to take our food and water, our regular food and water that we'd use normally anyway. We're also going to be using the sautéed steak as well, and you'll want to take probably 3 or 4 of those because they don't have a very high uptime. And that's so we basically only got 4 foods going on there, and you don't even need to use all of them. Just decide what you like, and maybe you even want to use the beer and the battle tartar as well. It's up to you, but they're risky ones, those ones. Anyway, so then we're going to take in with us a minimum of 100 med brews. I would go more like 150. You might only use 20 to 40 of them, but if something goes wrong where you end up falling in the lava or some strange stuff like that, or you do get hit a lot by something, the dragon, the Dimorphodons, or you get a bit of lag and you get hit by a fireball, whatever, you're going to want more rather than less. This method here, this is almost foolproof in a way. You do not need to worry about DPSing him down like crazy. It's not a DPS race. You can see here we've got with the Technocular bug here, which I love when that happens. On the right hand side you can see the boss now. We're at the 17-minute mark, so we've been doing it for about 7-8 minutes or whatever, and we've got him over half-life, so there's no need to rush this. This is a foolproof, safe way of doing it as well, certainly if there are 2 of you. Last thing as well, we're going to take our energy brew. It has a small effect here. It lets you go for longer when you're hitting the dragon, but it's not a major thing. I would take 25 to 30 of those maybe if you like. So that's basically it for the gear. So let's just talk more about how I came to do the dragon like this. So we don't have Therizinosaurs. They would be very good if you got those. Great, go ahead, keep doing it like that. That's more expensive really because it takes time to breed up decent ones that are capable of doing this. They take reduced fire damage, so that's why they are preferred over Rexes. I have taken Rexes in here and they've got absolutely slaughtered, but it's a bad idea bringing Rexes here. Just do not do it because they get trashed in less than 5 minutes. See, I'm putting my other set of armour in here. When you get a moment, if you can do that halfway through, it's a good idea too, if you feel like your armour's going to get damaged or broken or whatever and you're taking a lot of damage yourself. So anyway, we do not have the Therizinosaurs, so I wanted to try a way in which we could do this cheaper. If we lose this fight here, it's not costing us a lot at all. We're losing the Megaloceros and we're losing our printed armour, and that's why I say don't bring a shotgun in here the first time, because that will be your biggest loss if you've got a printed shotgun, of course, because the other stuff is really cheap as hell. Like even the flag and the sword is not that expensive, it's just ingots at the end of the day, and then you're just looking at recipes and Megaloceros. And the Megaloceros, you can literally take a sub 150 wild tamed one in here, 5,000 HP with 20 veggie cakes on it. You're not going to have a problem doing this boss. It is just not going to take that much damage unless you really screw up and you end up in the lava and you die somehow or whatever. I cannot see how you're going to lose your Megaloceros. Do not take a Yeti into the fight here. Yeti cannot heal itself back up again if it takes fire damage or any damage for that matter at all. It cannot eat veggie cakes. It eats berries when you tame it, but aside from that, it is considered a carnivore, so it cannot eat the veggie cakes. Just don't do it. The Megaloceros really is the only way to do this fight if you're going to do it with the swords. The Megaloceros is super fast. It can run around like nothing, like 0 to 60 in half a second. It is so crazy, and it jumps really nicely as well. So if you do find that you have to jump over the lava, you'll see here that we're not doing that. You don't actually need to do that, but if you have to, it's very competent in jumping over the lava bits as well. We're just fighting this boss right near the start of where you get spawned in near the obelisk. You can see that Elgum here, she isn't actually moving about a lot at all when the boss is in the air. She will probably only move when there's a fireball. She hasn't got a shotgun, she's not shooting it. You don't need to do that really, it's not important. So there you have it, we did that in just over 10 minutes I think, looking at the timer. You've got 25 minutes to do it and we did it, what, 14:30 something odd there. So that suggests that you can do this solo, right? Because you get 25 minutes and we did it in just over 10 minutes. But I really wouldn't recommend it because we've done times before with this boss where it's taken us longer or even less time. The Megaloceros use between 2 to all of their veggie cakes. It can go any way. It's this boss will never happen the same way twice. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope this gives a more realistic insight in how to do this boss on an actual server rather than just official settings, and gives a more true impression of what the fight is actually like, and not just if you get lucky or anything like that. It's a risk-free, relatively cheap way of doing this boss. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Probably going to do the Broodmother and the Monkey boss, and we'll see what else. So I'll catch you guys next time.